Meeting of Legislative Affairs will come to order. Clerk, call the roll.
All right. This is the Committee on Legislative Affairs. This is Thursday, October 4th, 2018. We're at 6 p.m. I have Councilor Capone.
Here.
I have Councilor Hanlon.
Here.
I have Councilor Marchese.
Here.
I have Councilor Simonelli.
Here.
We have 4 members present. We do have a quorum.
4 members present. We have a quorum. Please stand and salute the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We could please have the clerk read the first piece of
All
business.
right, first piece of business. This is an ordinance sought by Councilors Marchese and Capone to prohibit any contractor from obtaining any contracts or permits from the city of Everett while a public contractor project they are working on for the city is delayed, unfinished, or over contracted budget.
Make a motion for further time, and refer back to this committee.
Yep.
To you? Was that time, refer back to me, Councilor Capone.
Yep.
That's all.
Look,
What's that?
keep in committee, just grant further time.
Yeah,
Is
keep
it-
in committee, grant
okay.
further
Do we have
time.
a second?
Second.
So we moved in second to request further time. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk will read item number 2.
All right, item number 2 is an ordinance sought by Councilor Marchese to amend by delete section 10-27, inspection request before occupancy of Article 3, certificate of habitability.
Council Marchese.
Yes, thank you. We have, if you read section 10.-27, this is the change, if it was, what we're going to change to. So you'll see, we have 2 before you.
Oh, this is it here.
Yeah, that highlighted part.
Yeah,
That's what
if the
that's looking to be
highlighted part
changed.
is the part we want to change it to. We replaced the word must to be may, so you're not under the gun to have an inspection. You may have an inspection. And if such an inspection is granted by the property owner for that particular unit, that unit in all common areas shall be allowed access by the ISD department. No other unit or area not involved with the tenants shall be inspected without property owner approval. Any additional inspections of that property shall not influence any decision of the original inspected unit. This gives the people back their property. I think there was a lot of people are very scared that people could barge into your property and do what they want. This gives us back to the people who should be controlling their own destinations. And I would urge that everybody put themselves in that position. Because if the original meaning of this, the intention of this was that if you had an inspection of your house and you went to court, by the time you go back for your own property, by the time you went in there and someone was trying to get their last month's rent from you, the time you go to court, all you have to do is walk into court and just show your repairs to the building itself, and that's sufficient enough. You don't have to do anything else, because no matter what way you do it, landlord's always going to lose. I've been in the business 30 years, and I haven't won yet. So I would urge favorable action on this piece if we could.
Second motion, Mr. Chairman.
I get a second?
It's been moved in second. On that piece, Council, I would give you one thing to think about. I understand, the intent. That last sentence that you have there, any additional inspections of the property, you're looking at, so it doesn't influence whatever happened with the prior. You might want to put in there, instead of any additional inspection, any permission to expand the inspection or denial of additional inspection shall not influence the decision.
What was that?
So right now you have any additional inspections of the property.
Yep.
So it speaks to the affirmative if you allowed
Okay.
it. But you might want to
Any
say any
permittable.
permission to expand it
Any permittable?
or denial to get the additional expansion won't impact the unit that was inspected.
Can you give me some wording on that so you can put this right
Yeah,
now?
so we have additional.
Additional, yep.
So take additional out, and I would say something like any permission to expand the inspection or denial to inspect that property shall not influence the decision. That way, if the property owner decides they don't want to expand,
Yep.
the inspection, it won't cause the whole thing to fall through. And if they do allow it, it won't hurt what's already been viewed.
Yep.
And then your amendment with the may is you're leaving it to the homeowner that either they can have a certificate in hand, that if they go into court, they can show it to a judge and say, look, I've done what I had to do, or play with fire and not have one, and then
Yep.
hope that they make it through okay. So-
Which is actually the same thing
Yeah.
anyhow. You've
Yeah.
been through the same
Yeah.
thing I have. This just prevents people from coming into your house and just taking over everything in your house. And it's an awful feeling. I've experienced, I know people that experienced. It's not a safety thing, it's an invasion of privacy, and stuff like this is not needed in this city.
So it's up to you if you want to
I
incorporate
like
that amendment
that,
or
the
not.
permission to, yeah,
Okay.
because it should have that.
Mr. Chairman,
Well,
I'm
Counsel
very
Hanlon.
satisfied with that last sentence. And,
What, the additional inspections, John?
yeah, any additional inspection property shall not influence the decision of the original inspected unit. So if the person on the third floor,
Yep.
you're asking for an inspection, and they pass the inspection, everything is done.
Mhm.
And on the way out, they happen to notice that,
That was my intent on this.
yeah,
Right.
they happen to notice that there's something wrong in the building.
Mhm.
The building department can't ignore that.
Right.
I mean, they don't knock on everybody's door to go in,
Mhm.
but if they happen to see or smell smoke or something like that, they gotta, I don't know if they're gonna smell
Yeah.
smoke, but whatever the situation might be, they can't just walk away. I mean, that's their responsibility too, and, if something happens, you could take the building department to court, because they didn't enforce that.
Yeah.
Well, they were enforced,
alarm,
they were enforced, John, what they were asked to enforce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
to-
the thing.
And to the extent that there might be a conflict between our ordinance and the state ordinance, the state would supersede. So if they had the authority to do something, they would do it. They'd have to point to it. So I think the intent of Council Marchese is, if there's going to be an expanded inspection, let the landlord decide if they want that or not. And if it does turn in that there is a public safety issue that's covered by a code or a state law, then regardless of what the owner wants to do, the board's going to have to do what they have to
I
do.
think that's what, I was talking about, the fire alarm chirping.
Yeah.
Meaning that your battery is very low and it won't work in case of a fire or smoke or something like that. They can't say, oh, I just don't want to be bothered with that. They have to do something
But
about it.
John, but you can't say that your building is not non-conforming because of a chirp for a battery.
Yeah.
So wouldn't the question be, what are you going to do about that? And he says,
Yeah.
well, and I'll go in there and I'll put a battery in, you don't have to
Yes.
come into my place.
That's what they should do, yeah.
I mean, that's easy enough to do.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about. Anything like that, they should
Yep.
have the right to go. They do not have the right to pass by it. They have to do what they have to do.
But the whole inspection, John, is, if I'm going to have an inspection, I'm going to have my house is up to code.
No, if they do the third floor and they walk out of the building with no other problems, that's fine.
Yeah.
With me,
Yeah.
They don't have to look at any place else, and they don't have to say, while we're here, let me go check the cellar. They don't have to do that,
That's the issue I'm trying to get,
Yeah.
a little protection for people.
So, where are we? I'm just saying that.
So there was a potential amendment to the piece, so I don't know if you want to accept that or if you want to just leave it the way it was. I'll get to you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What do you think about the additional,
The thing that Fred just.
yes.
Could you say it again to me, Fred?
Sure. On that last sentence, where it says additional, instead of additional, you'd put language in that says, any permission to expand the inspection. So if the property owner says to the inspector, sure, you can go and look.
Okay, yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, but if he says no,
Or if the owner says, no, you can't go look in there, it won't impact what's already been inspected.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And
That's the
then,
same thing.
okay, so it's been moved and second on the amendment.
yep,
And Counsel Simonelli, you wanted to,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you for Councilman Simonelli, and to amend to May, from must to May.
it is
Yep.
me.
that's what he has in there, yep.
May's already, that's already in.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, I think what you're saying with your amendment of the word after addition is that when the inspector's there in that unit, if he's denied access to where he wanted to go by the landlord. It will not affect his decision why he was there.
Correct.
And that, we agree, Councilman Simonelli agrees, and, because that's respect for the people.
It is.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
So
Chairman.
on that piece as amended, it's, we have first and second on the amendment, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the amendment's been accepted. On the piece itself, what would you like to do? Council, favorable action out to the body?
Favorable action out the
Okay, we have
body.
a second? It's moved and second to refer out favorably to the body. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk will read item number 3.
Number 3, this is a resolution by Council Frank Capone, in order for an open air storage of salt and other items.
On this piece, Mr. Clerk, has this been referred to the city solicitor at all?
I don't believe it was, I believe it was just this.
Okay, and I see the changes that were made here, and I like a lot of the language. Unless there's an objection from the body, I think it'd probably be good to have the city solicitor take a look at it, and make recommendations for our next meeting.
What item are we on?
This is item number 3, the bulk storage.
Did we do?
John, yeah.
Yeah, no, I got that.
Well, you have the bulk storage over here.
No.
Yeah, to allow that to happen, if the body's so inclined. If the body's so inclined, I'd say we'd request further time, refer it to the city solicitor for her input on the language, and next time around, we'll finish it up.
I know we talked about the salt storage.
Yep, that's
and,
that's
when I
part of
went
it.
down, there was a pile, probably not as high as this ceiling, and maybe only spread out to the aisle, to the
Mhm.
banister here. And that was about the size of the pile that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Since then, that pile has grown a lot.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've been down there to see it, but I have to tell you that it's all covered too. It's all
Okay.
covered with black material.
Yeah.
And you can barely distinguish it. The only thing was on the Mystic River Bridge, and I looked over and I said, what is that? They said, oh, they covered the salt piles.
Yep.
So, I don't know if we had, when they were in here, if we had limited them to that pile, or what.
No, they actually weren't in on the pile. They
Yeah,
were in
that's
for
right.
flammable, in
Garage
license to correct, to
that's right.
repair. So
Anyway, just-
we didn't have anything, so we're trying to put something in place so we have
Yeah.
some protection.
Okay.
So the chair will entertain a motion to grant further time, request city solicitor to review this, and report back to our next meeting?
Yes,
Okay. Is there a second?
second.
Moved and second, to grant further time. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk will read item number 4.
All right, item number 4, this is ordinance by Council Napolitano as president. Be it ordained by the Everett City Council that section 3-33, keeping hens and poultry of the revised ordinance of the city of Everett is hereby amended.
So I know with this piece, Mr. Clerk, we had a portion of this go out to the planning board because there was zoning. What were we doing? Okay. And so what did we leave in committee? What were we looking to do?
You're gonna look at the existing ordinance in comparison to the new ordinance.
Okay.
To see exactly what changes would be made.
Okay. Which copy is the existing one? The one with the seal?
Okay, this, yeah.
Okay, so the one with the seal is the existing one. That's the new one?
Yes. this
So the
is new
plain one is the existing?
Yes. that was
Okay,
the
so
one that was copied.
each of you should have a copy of this on your desks. The plain one is, it says section 3-33, keeping of hens and poultry. That's the existing one. And then the one with the city seal on it, that's the one that's being amended. So if you want, we can take a few minutes and just go through it, and if there are any questions, we can address that.
So this is the new one, Mr. Chairman?
The one with the seal is the proposed new one, yeah. So if you line them up side by side and you run down, you can see what's being changed, if anything.
And there's also a copy of zoning ordinance.
And that's already gone to planning board, correct?
That'll
has
be
not.
on your agenda Tuesday night.
So have we referred that out yet, or no?
No, you'll need to do it that night. Yes.
Okay.
Recommendation was.
Has been already
yeah.
referred out, okay. And then that will go to the planning board if the body so desires. And we may want to even increase those numbers, actually.
Yes.
I think that would be a wise thing to do. Sure, Counsel?
Do you guys think 10 feet from the main buildings and everything, and 10 feet from the side is far away enough?
I was just saying that.
That's awful. I mean, that thing
Yeah.
should go to 25 or something like that.
So, yeah, you know what'll end up happening? This actually isn't in front of us tonight, because this was referred out already, right?
Yes.
So what'll happen is our next council meeting on Tuesday, this piece, this amendment, we've got to refer to the planning board, because they make the ordinance changes. I had just mentioned to the clerk, I don't think 10 feet is enough. Because if that's your house, and 10 feet in, there's a chicken coop, you may not be so happy about that. So I think the time will be,
That was based,
Yeah.
I think, the building inspector, based
Yeah.
on the average back.
Yeah.
You try to make it reasonable.
yeah. So what I'd say is, when we have the meeting on Tuesday, and this piece is up, that would be the time to make the recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, through
Counsel?
you for Councilman Simonelli, how many chickens are we talking in each house?
I think the ordinance limits it to 6
Okay,
right
so-
now.
So now, is there an amount of houses we can have, 25 feet, say, away? Can I have 20? I have a whole lot. I can put
Yeah.
25
Yeah.
chicken coops.
Yeah,
Only 6
yeah.
chickens.
You could have a luxury setup where
Oh,
each
you can
hen
have
gets its
one
own
house
house.
with Chicken. Okay. Chicken condo.
There you go.
Thank
It's a
you,
whole
Mr.
new
Ch-
business. Mike, you got a whole new business going now. Okay, there you go. So if you want, you could just line them up. You've got the plain one and the one with the seal, and just go section by section. It's 333. We could go down, see if there's any changes being made, and if there's any questions about them, go from there. Looking at the first one, it doesn't look like there's anything there. It looks like it might be cleaned up a little bit. It says the section details.
Mr. Chairman?
Yep,
Where does
Counselor.
it say, where's the number of chickens? Where was that area?
Let's see if it's in here. Yeah, I think the old one was 6. Let's see if we can find it. It's in C1B. So, let's see where we are here. 33 dash, that's 3-33, C1B. It's the second page in. It says the number of hens shall be limited to 6. Under noise, yeah, under noise and nuisance control.
I must be reading another page.
Which one do you have there?
This new one, yeah.
Yep. The page that starts with subsection C, nuisance control. Yep,
Just a second too late, John.
there you go. Letter B, it says the number of hens shall be limited to 6.
Yeah,
So that's where that is.
okay. That's the one thing I don't agree with. Yep. Well, I'm thinking of a family that, you know, a husband, wife, 2 children. 6 chickens will not provide them with eggs.
Yeah. I mean, it's debatable if you're a city, should you have chickens running around?
Right,
That's,
the city of Malden.
yeah.
The city of
you
Malden.
you could vote to repeal it, and then anyone who's actively housing chickens at this point would be grandfathered in.
We have to go around the city and find out what's chickens?
Yeah,
The city of Malden doesn't allow it.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, the move there would be to repeal it if you wanted to get rid of it, so.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Council Simonelli? Yep.
Through Councilman Simonelli, how many chicken licenses do we have in the city of Everett? Do we know?
Well, right now, do they have to formally?
I don't know if they would have to.
Anyway,
Yeah.
6 eggs.
Mr. Chairman.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how
I mean,
they
if
go
it's
about doing it.
If it's verifiable, maybe John has a point, and maybe Councilman Hanlon has a point. Maybe we could increase the number, but if you're talking a relatively low number of people, and as Councilman Marchese said, you don't want $500,000 homeowner going crazy because the
Yeah.
the rooster's gonna be there too eventually. I don't know, and maybe we can get a copy of what's happening in Malden to give us a
Well,
better idea.
Malden doesn't allow it at all.
Yeah, a lot of cities.
A lot of cities won't allow it, yeah. Well, there's no order, they just prohibit it.
Just prohibited.
They strictly prohibit it.
So if you wanted to get rid of it, you would say, okay, we're gonna recommend out to the body, get rid of it completely. It's not needed, so.
If this comes before us, that'll probably be my recommendation.
Yeah, so it's in committee now, and we've got the changes, so we can either modify the changes, refer it out, do whatever you want to do with it.
I just want to say that, what I said about the family, if you have 6 chickens,
Mhm.
you get 4 or 5 eggs a day. You don't get that. A dozen chickens, you get 9 eggs a day,
Okay,
because a chicken does not lay an egg a day. And it's got to be good weather. Bad weather, they won't produce. So you got to understand that they're not going to, even in bad weather, if you get out of a dozen chickens, you get 6 eggs, you're really lucky.
oh, wow, so the conditions have to be conducive?
And well, the thing is, it's the light. If the lights go out, the chickens go to sleep.
Oh,
At 4 o'clock, they're not doing anything. So you have to wait till the next morning, and they only have a very short day in the wintertime for daylight, because they won't do anything at nighttime at all. They just sleep. So I'd like to make a motion to change that to 12.
all right, so I guess we could do is run down it. So we've got 3-33, A, B, these are all definitions. We're okay with the definitions?
Yeah, that was okay.
All right, so we'll go to C, nuisance control, and that is letter 1B.
Yeah.
And your motion, Counselor, is to change it from 6 to 12.
6 to 12.
Is there a second? There's no second, the motion is failed.
Okay.
Okay, so we're at that point in here. Let's see if there's anything else. So you have letter C, it looks similar. Then odor, which is number 2. And match those up, match up letter A, see if there's anything there that causes concern. If not, we'll move on to letter B. Yeah. They do have to maintain some level of cleanliness. I think the,
The only concerns me is, once you wind up posting the amendments to this ordinance, people realize that they can do it.
Yeah.
Because it's gotta be advertised.
yeah,
I mean, to be honest with you, I would vote to repeal this. I really would.
second? Do you want to make that motion, Counselor?
I'd like to make a motion to repeal this ordinance in its entirety.
And we have a
Second
second?
motion.
It's been moved and second to make a recommendation to repeal the ordinance. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
All right, so now, basically, what you did was you repealed it, but now you're gonna need some zoning language to restrict it.
Yeah.
So even though you repeal, this just talks about keeping.
Yeah.
So you wanna make sure that we have a zoning ordinance that strictly
Prohibits it.
prohibits it.
So what'll end up happening is that piece that's going to be out
Right.
for
so you
zoning,
combine
the recommendation to the planning board would be to,
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
okay,
So you can change the amendment.
yeah. And then what'll happen is that'll be in front of the body on Tuesday, and whatever the will of the majority is what we'll end up doing, whether there'll be a request to repeal it and ask the planning board to do something with it, or does the council want to keep that as an option? So,
I'd go with the repeal. If it doesn't pass, then we have
Sure.
to find something else to
Okay.
accommodate it.
okay, that's the way it is, okay. So I think that was the last piece of business. So the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn. Second, it's moved and second to adjourn, all in favor? Opposed, the ayes have it, you have adjourned.